And the island where you are was once an area where enslaved Sierra Leoneans were held captive. It was an area which we call the transatlantic slave trade. Slavery lasted here for 140 years. But the place where you landed is called the King Wharf. Here, slaves never arrived here. They have the big wharf. Banana, as I said on board the boat, is a 3 island in one. You have Banana, which is called Dublin Banana Island, which is a general island. Because of its shape, that's why it's called Banana Island. You have Ricketts, which was named after Henry Ricketts, where slaves were relocated. But each and every slave that left this island were shipped to America. All slaves sold.
Good day and welcome to my YouTube channel. As usual, I am Mike. Sorry for not coming to your screen the past few days or weeks, as I was attending a conference, a reassurance conference being organized by Africa Reinsurance Company. The headquarters of this reinsurance company is located at Lagos, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria, but it is being owned by all 54 African countries. Friends, this company decided to take all the participants for an excursion to Banana Island. So we left the Radisson Blu Hotel to Sea Coach Express, one of the water taxi companies in Freetown, where we are being equally distributed into 2 groups. These people arrange everything for us and want to say a big thank you to the facilitators of this training, Mr. Akolade and Madam Balegu, both from the African Reinsurance Company, the life department. Want to say a very big thank you to you, sir, and to you, madam. We do appreciate the training that you gave us and will practicalize what you have already trained us to do.
By the name of Andrew, we're going to get up on Banana Island. And this is very important because not all of you are Sierra Leoneans. I know there is a Banana Island in Nigeria. So now you have another Banana Island in Sierra Leone. To start with, Sierra Leone, of course, the name derived from the Portuguese word means Saradaroa, which means the Lion's Mountain. In 1887, the name was changed to Sierra Leone. And of course, many of you wondering why the name Freetown. Historically, since the beginning of this Atlantic slave trade, Sierra Leone, many people actually, many slaves actually have been taken from Sierra Leone to the West Indies, to North America. So this particular county was also identified as a repatriation center. So initially the name, we have Leone, which was the first name, and then we have the provinces of freedom, and the name was later changed to Freetown, meaning this town is free for all free slaves coming to Sierra Leone. Ironically, this is the only country where you have free slaves, free from North America, come back to Sierra Leone, where slavery is still legal. We call them the Nova Scotians, who came back in 1792. Basi? So this is my co-guide, Basi, and we're going to divide the group in 2. So you're going to be with one group, with one boat, and myself. And as long as when we go to Banana Island, we're going to divide the group in 2s again. Basi, this is our honest guest today. Happy to have you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome home if you are far away from home. I believe you are going to have a nice experience with us. Don't be afraid to take out your cameras, have some beautiful pictures of Sierra Leone, and make this beautiful memory a home forever. Back to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Are you ready? Let's make it to Banana Island. Hooray!
Andrew Fortune Basi is my name. I am your guide in boat 2. On our journey, on our way to Banana Island this afternoon, we are heading to a slavery island. Probably if you're coming from Nigeria, not the luxurious Banana Island, these are all.
Or you can put you can start
We are heading to a historic island. For many of us, we call it the home where our ancestors settled when they returned back home. We all know as the world is facing climate change and many other activities are happening in our communities. On our way, if our boat come in contact with any of these garbages, don't be afraid. We need to stop, remove, and then we continue. That's not an issue. I just want you to know that this is how it has to be. And along the journey as well, if you have questions to ask, you could. We could have the rest of the trip on our journey. So we are walking probably in few minutes to our boat. When you walk down to your boat, please just grab your life jacket, take as many pictures like I said earlier. Sierra Leone, as my co-guide was saying, was renamed in 1462. Our country was not discovered. A Portuguese sailor called Pedro da Cinta renamed Sierra Leone in 1462. Sierra Leone used to have over 200 languages. Today we have only 16. Among those 16, we are visiting one of the tribes today, or the local language, which are the Creole. And going to Banana Island, you have to see the historic old houses, have some time before we come back. So in that light, I will just ask the dispatch officer to dispatch us so we can grab our own life jackets and then pick up the boat. Thank you. The island which we are heading to is a 1747 island where enslaved Sierra Leoneans and other Africans. We are relocated after the British and America have abolished the slave trade. Slavery, which lasted for 140 years in Sierra Leone, was a journey for many Sierra Leoneans or other Africans. We are our ancestors. We are not only shackled, they were branded, and most of them were dumped alive on board the Atlantic Ocean. The ocean which you are on board this afternoon, there are millions of bones, thousands of skulls we could not account for, of our ancestors who were transported to the Western world, those who become ill. We are dumped alive on board the Atlantic Ocean. For those of you who are coming to Sierra Leone for the very first time, like I said earlier, many of you, if you go through our history books, you could hear that Sierra Leone was discovered in 1462. Our land called Sierra Leone was not discovered. It was renamed in 1462 by a Portuguese sailor called Pedro da Cinta. He was in search of pure water and salt when he came across this beautiful land. A land by then, today we have 16 ethnic groups. Sierra Leone used to have only 4 ethnic groups. Among the 16 ethnic groups in Sierra Leone, there are only 4 original tribes from Sierra Leone. The Limba, the Temne, the Bulom, and the Shabro. The entire journey from here to Banana Island would be an hour and a half based on the time. And along the journey, we have to go through the Cape Lighthouse. Along our journey, from both left and right, being the Atlantic Ocean, you just left Aberdeen. And Aberdeen is one of the enslaved community we are in, Sierra Leoneans, whom we call the Creole. We are relocated after the abolition of the slave trade. And the Cape Lighthouse, which we are approaching, was also another signal in Freetown that was built by the British. As we are making our journey, being the panoramic city of Sierra Leone, which is Freetown, city of thousands of enslaved Sierra Leoneans and other Africans who were shipped here from 1787 to date. And among these people, you have 4 types of these settlers. We have the liberated Africans that arrived on the 10th May 1787. Here we have 411. We have the second batch of settlers in the Western world, they call them slaves. They call them the Nova Scotians. They are the 2 founders of Freetown. We have the Maroons and we have the Captives. These are the different batch of Sierra Leoneans or Africans who sailed to Sierra Leone after slavery was abolished in both England and America. And among these people are the people whom we call the Creole. On board your boat, if you can view outside, you will view the panoramic 1792 city of Sierra Leone, which is called Freetown. A land which was renamed after we have the second batch of enslaved Africans. Freetown today is among the 10 populous cities in the world. Sierra Leone have 8 million plus population. And among the 8 million plus population, both ethnic groups who are the Temne and the Mende can account for 31% of the population of Sierra Leone. And among the populous cities in the world, which Freetown is among, Freetown is currently accommodating close to 3 million people who are living in the shores of Freetown. And you have the time to view Freetown from far, which can give you from buildings of businesses, government departments and agencies. And we are driving through Aberdeen Village, a village that was found for returned enslaved Africans and Sierra Leoneans in 1829. Then on board our boat as well, I have some water. For those of you who need water, we have water here. Anybody? Yeah, it's water. Or you have heard about the Cape Lighthouse on several occasions. You don't know the answers of the Cape Lighthouse? Right in front of us is the Cape Lighthouse, built in 1812 by the British. This is where boats from offshore vessels were anchoring during the transatlantic slave trade and after the transatlantic slave trade. And for decades, it has been the place where many love stories have developed. Many couples have used the lighthouse as a place for them to have their honeymoon dinner, and they have used this place for beautiful things like romance movies, and many people have used the Cape Lighthouse to spend unique time with their family, friends, and loved ones. It used to have a restaurant, but during the Ebola, you know, many businesses were closed. So the Cape Lighthouse, the management of the Cape Lighthouse is, but it's still here. It's nice if you are within Freetown, you have a time to visit the Cape Lighthouse and have some beautiful moments with the Cape Lighthouse here. As you are experiencing a little bit of shaking, because this area was mostly used by the British to control vessels that were heading to both Bonds Island and Banana Island. And these were areas where slaves were held captive for 140 years. From 1670 to 1807 for the British, and from 1670 to 1865 for the Americans. So that's the Cape Lighthouse. So if you have a picture of the Cape Lighthouse, there are many people in Sierra Leone, when you post them on your social media handle, that will ask you, where is the Cape Lighthouse in Freetown? So that's the Cape Lighthouse. And very close to here, you have several hotels. And from the Cape Lighthouse, you can view the Big Tumani, which was named after the highest peak in Sierra Leone and the second highest peak in West Africa, the Big Tumani Hotel. And along the journey as well, you have to go through Hamilton. Sierra Leone becomes one of the first countries in West Africa where the Portuguese were also working. As people who arrive as missionaries, as trade buyers, they start involved in buying kola nuts and ivy, which was sold along the coast of Guinea. In the whole of West Africa, today we have several West African countries, close to 27 of them. Among the 27, there was only one country called the Mali Empire. There was no country called Sierra Leone, Nigeria, Ghana, Mali. All of them were part of the Ghana coast, which is part of the empire. And Mali was its end. But the British and the French made boundaries which differentiate countries. That's how Western civilization arrived in West Africa, and also slavery was introduced among our locals. Since those days till now, we still have enslaved Africans and other people coming to Sierra Leone. After the abolition of the slave trade, Sierra Leone in 1958 did a document for them asking for independence. As the former anthems of West Africa, we are in Ghana, Nigeria, Senegal, Mali, all of them we are having education. In the whole of West Africa, Sierra Leone have the first girls' school that was built by the British in 1849. It's called the Annie Walsh Memorial School for Girls. In 1845, the British built what we call the School for Boys, which is a Sierra Leone grammar school. And in 1827, the school or university was built, which is called Yawri College. As I said earlier, whilst we are Yawri College, and we have the third oldest university in the whole of Africa. The first was in Morocco, you have Egypt, and you have this one here. Sierra Leone is among the countries which has developed to its educational level. We gained independence in 1961, which has been 64 years of independence. In 1967, Sierra Leone had its first democratic election, which was won by 60 people who were in parliament. Two political parties contested. The All People's Congress was led by Siaka Province Stevie, and the Sierra Leone People's Party was led by Albert Magai. And with one vote, the APC won the election. Since its assumption, Sierra Leone have had different political leaders who have led Sierra Leone from post-independence era. 11 years of brutal civil war, mudslide of Corona and Ebola. Sierra Leone is a resilient nation. It's a beautiful land if you continue viewing from outside. These are some of the things we are raising eyebrows on. As young people on board this boat, if you take a look outside, you will see there have been a lot of deforestation along the western area peninsula. In 1938, the British declared the western area peninsula. There are many of you. This is where we have the Mambo waterfall. This is where we have Hamilton. This is where we have Sussex. This is where we have many of the communities of Beach River number 2. These are the areas where we are having excursion this afternoon. In the mountainous areas, which is the western area peninsula, within this area from Mile 13 as we are approaching, you are seeing there have been a lot of deforestation, which is caused the several heats we are facing in Freetown. The heat we are experiencing is because of deforestation. So as young people, it is our role to campaign or to raise awareness in different communities. Queen of England, of Scotland. It is the Hamilton in Sierra Leone. We are the royal family. We are residing during the Second World War. As we are going along, the experience in time, there is some water coming in. It's showers of blessing. Just remember, it's showers of blessing. The ancestors are welcoming you back home. For someone joining, you are having to Banana Island. These are just some of the few experiences our people we are having whilst we are enslaved during the transatlantic slave trade. So if you can view outside, you can clearly see the mountainous view of what Pharaoh Sita saw in 1462.
The three Banana Islands are the perfect place to escape the bustling capital in search of slow-paced island life. With wide sandy beaches, I was unable to video the sandy beaches because of the high tide of the water, but it is luxuriant nature and it is very much rich in historical heritage. How to get to Banana Island? There are several ways you can get to Banana Island. For us on this excursion, we use one of the water taxis that are available in Freetown, the Sea Coach Express, but others, that is a common way, usually use boats to Dublin, the largest of the Banana Islands. Depart from Kent on the southern tip of Freetown Peninsula. Reaching Kent takes about 1 hour or 1 hour and a half from Freetown, depending on traffic. Dublin, the largest and most visited one, Ricketts and Mes-Meheux. Dublin and Ricketts are linked by a stone causeway, making it easy to move from one island to the other, whereas Mes-Meheux is uninhabited, privately owned, and can only be visited as part of an organized trip. Dublin and Ricketts were first settled by formerly enslaved Africans. Returning from the Americans, many of the current residents are their descendants. About 800 to 1,000 inhabitants, Dublin, and about 400 in Ricketts. Walking around the island, you will come across wooden clapboard houses, sometimes brightly painted, immersed in the jungle and surrounded by so many trees. In Dublin, you will also find 2 small churches and a few shops, but there are no cars, no roads, and no electricity on the islands, except the private electricity using the solar system. The Banana Islands are the ideal place to switch off and take a break from the hustle of modern life. You can choose between chilling on Big Sand Beach, the nicest beach on Dublin, stroll around the island, go snorkeling, scuba diving, or hire a kayak or pedal boat to search for hidden caves. Guest houses on the island should be able to assist with boat hire, and there's a diving school in Dublin to hire guards and equipment. It's located right next to Dalton Banana Guest House. There are several guest houses around the Banana Islands, and the Buffer Resort is one long-running accommodation that attracts excellent reviews of the island. Dalton's Banana Island Guest House is also a great choice for budget travelers, and the management organizes tours to other destinations in Sierra Leone, including the Turtle Islands. Those with bigger budget should consider Old Turtle Bay Guest House, a stylish guest house at the Banana Island. But overall, we arrived at the island safely and want to continue to say thank you to Africa Reinsurance Corporation with headquarters at the Lagos, Victoria Island, Lagos, Nigeria. We want to say thank you for this excellent job that they did for us, including the training and this excursion. So unless we have to use the local boats that will transfer us to the shore, use the local boats that we'll be using to transfer us to the shore.
You can. You like caramo? Ahead. Ahead.
Wait till. Wait. That can another only man. Only man no more.
So we have arrived at the village.
Is this your village?
No, this is not my village. Well, I've been here several times.
You've been here several times? For what? Just for holiday?
For tour, excursions, yes, and holidays. During public holidays, so many people do visit. It's an historic area.
Thank God that they were able to do something to get us here. When that their machine had issue. So when we are going back, that's how we are going to move to.
Maybe
That
it all depends on the tide. It all depends on the tide, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like that speedboat can't get here.
Because of the tide, because of the rock, they can't see the rocks currently. That's why they have to go far away from.
I'm saying if we are going back, there is no way our speedboat can ever come to this place.
For now,
It's not where you ever want to
because of this tide.
So based on the time we have, it's 1 after 5. If we can come close so we can have a brief orientation and have a quick walk, for you not to be here without visiting the village. And you come back because we are leaving here by 6. So it tells you we have less than an hour. So if you can come close for us to have an orientation.
Please, let's come together for orientation, please. Let's come together.
The island where you are was once an area where enslaved Sierra Leoneans were held captive. It was an area which we call the transatlantic slave trade. Slavery lasted here for 140 years. But the place where you landed is called the King Wharf. Here, slaves never arrived here. They have the big wharf. Banana, as I said on board the boat, is a 3 island in one. You have Banana, which is called Dublin Banana Island, which is a general island. Because of its shape, that's why it's called Banana Island. You have Ricketts, which was named after Henry Ricketts, where slaves were relocated. But each and every slave that left this island were shipped to America. All slaves sold. How slaves were purchased here, 5 human beings was going for 1 knife, 10 human beings for a pouch, gunpowder, alcohol, and tobacco. This is what they were exchanged for. And where you are standing is the Banana Island Guest House, one of the oldest, which very close to the cannons, which was used as a firing area. So with this brief orientation, the Creoles of Sierra Leone are origins from this island, and the island of itself has close to 3,000 people when you put 3 of them together. So we are going to have a quick walk for you to see some of the areas, the church, the well, and few areas we can cover. Come back for you to have your food and before we can depart. So in that light, you can ask as many questions as we are going along. But you are here at Banana Island.
So we have started the tour now, and from the King Wharf, this the island is guest house.
So the Banana Island Guest House is a project which undertaken by VSL Visit Sierra Leone, which is CEO called Bimbola. They want to give back to the community. This project is a project which the local have to work on, and also money generated from this project is going towards education and health on this island. So probably a few months from now you hear Banana Island Guest House. It's nice if you can patronize with an all Sierra Leonean business here on the island.
Can I get this way or is it?
Yeah.
We need to go faster. We need to go faster. We want to go see. We want to go to the village. Also, okay, I'm picking on the stairs. Not a plenty time again. We need to run go upside small.
It's in their Remembrance Arbor. So the Remembrance Arbor, where you're standing from here to that portion where you can see the field, is what we call the separation point. When slaves were brought here, 10 human beings on one chain. The separation point is where they have to separate the weaker ones from those who are not, who are physically fit. The weaker ones, they walk them at the back where the fort was, and also those who are going through the fort, they are also taking them at the back. So in that light, we are walking to the back for you to see, and the longest point slaves do walk during the slave trade is here, from the big wharf to the separation point, from separation point to the fort. And each and every one of them, all were sold to America, to Charleston, Georgia, South Carolina, Connecticut, Rhodes Island. These were the area where they were sold to. So we walk through the same path where our ancestors walked by some thousands of years ago.
I go. I see the shoulder. Watch back.
Here you are. This was where the fort was built. If you have read book titled Things Fall Apart, written by Chino Achebe, there are thousands of words he said in this book. One of the words you can remember is the center can no longer hold. What used to hold us together, a knife has been put between us. What he was saying about was the Western religion, which was used to change the mindset of many Africans and Sierra Leoneans. He said the sun will shine on only those who kneel underneath the sun. What he was trying to say was, our people were involved in the transatlantic slave trade, but they were told that if they gave up their sons and daughters, they take them to the Western world, they will become lawyers, teachers, people who come back and serve different community. Parents, paramount chiefs, kings and queens never knew their sons and daughters, prisoners who they were giving. When they give it to them, they will chain them, they will brand them, and they will keep them on board the Atlantic Ocean. So here the portion you are seeing was a two-story building where both male and female were held captive. The second story was where they were living. But the sad part of it, if you have been to other destinations in Sierra Leone, or places like in Goa Island, James Island, or the fort in Nigeria, those places are people who are dumped on board the Atlantic Ocean alive. But here, when they fall ill, they will drag them outside of any one of these two enclosures where they are. They will drag them this way. Sorry, let me just walk by. They will drag them here. And also those who are not physically fit for them to go through, they will drag them through here.
Are you not dragging us?
Drag ourselves.
Over, Mike. Yes.
So we'll have been given the same opportunity we have now.
So as you are coming by, like I was saying, in many other places, our ancestors' hands and feet were tied. They were dumped alive on board different Atlantic Ocean on their way. But the pit you are seeing here today was over 20 feet. When they fall ill, and those who cannot go through the physical test, who were so weak that they cannot go through the Atlantic Ocean, hands and feet are tied. They dump them here alive. If they keep crying for days, each one of these stones you are seeing at your back represents one human being. They will grab this one and crush them alive in here. So in here there are many bones. There are thousands of skulls of people who never went through the Atlantic Ocean. Like many hymns have said, like one of them which says, on Christ the solid rock I stand. Every other area in Africa was a sinking sand. Our people cannot stand even in their own land. In memory of those who went through this tragic, many of those who never walked through the Atlantic Ocean, or those who were crushed here, This is how we say, may their souls rest in perfect peace. And for many of them who went through the Atlantic Ocean, we walked through this part for you to see how they were taken. Many of the boats you saw today coming here at Banana Island are the same boats which collect them whilst the slave trade was going on.
Hey. Wow.
You not Creole, me not Portuguese. Me not offline, not born, they are men. You born literally. Me not Palang. So as you are walking by, this was a place where the fort was. So when you walk in to select your slave, they will allow you to walk in. Then there were a group of people called Goumetins. They were Nigerians, Gambians, Senegalese. They were not sold as slaves. They were walking here. So they would chain them, walk them in, have the bucket, which has a piece of iron and fire. They take the piece of iron and place on their skin. RACE, it means the Royal African Company of England. Whilst they are doing the branding, if you scream, you'll be tortured. That's how people were treated. After selecting them, they walk outside with a chain of over 50 kilos. They walk through here. All the routes also don't pass, must not say yeah it passes. Don't clear the cup. So as you're walking in, this was their exit route. Bigger ships were not coming close here to Banana Island because there are lots of rocks. But there is a guy called John Newton. He is the man who wrote the hymn, The Amazing Grace. For those of you who are going to churches, who are part of different musical groups, Amazing Grace, the first standard of that hymn was written in Sierra Leone. Wow. It was written around here. Newton was a young man who fell in love with slavery. He was the head of slavery activity here. And all of the trees you are seeing here today, there was no single tree when slavery was going on. So Newton, as a young man, in his entire dream, he wanted to become a local preacher or a pastor. Newton was given the opportunity. When he does something here, he was demoted. As a young man, he writes a letter back to his parents saying he wants to go back home. By the time the letter returned back to Banana Island, Newton has been promoted to head of the slavery activity. He decided to go back home at the point when slavery was coming to an end. But one fateful evening as we are here, whilst Newton was walking around here, he put words together which is the Amazing Grace. Many Africans means this hymn is for them. But this hymn was a white slave master who was trying to say sorry for what he did towards black slaves whilst he was in Banana Island. If you listen to the hymn, you don't listen to my voice. The hymn goes like this. Amazing grace, how sweet thou sound, that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. If you listen to the words, what Newton was saying, he said, Amazing grace, how sweet the sound. What sound was Newton referring to? What are you hearing this evening?
The waves.
The waves, the ocean. So what Newton was hearing whilst he was walking here was death, shackle, the waves, the ocean. That was what he was hearing. But back in England, on the eve, what was he hearing? Hymns, carols. So he wanted to say a sermon. But the only verse in the Bible that was said to our slaves was, slaves must obey their masters. They were never taught like, love your neighbor as you love yourself, honor thy mother and thy father so that days may be long on earth. So Newton wanted to say this hymn. And then he remembered the Amazing Grace. He said he was a wretch. He said he found Jesus or God at the point of death. He said he was blind whilst he was treating people like this. So the hymn was recorded 6,600 times by American slaves in America. Second and third standard was written in America. But the first standard of Amazing Grace originally was written here, around this area. All of these trees, the cotton tree you are seeing here, grow after the abolition of the slave trade. Part of the 16 cannon that was sent here, lying here, are 3 of them as well. So we keep having the walk back. We keep walking back to the community for us to have our talk quickly as we are going along. Here is one of the oldest bell here on Banana Island. As you are seeing this bell, it was brought here when slaves were relocated after the abolition. So this bell here, if you come close, the chain here is part of the chain which they used to chain the slaves. And this is the bell they are ringing when the year is going around. Oh, no, yeah. This bell was brought here in 1881. It's from Leeds. As you can see here, this is the bell they are ringing when the year is going around. So this is one of the oldest bells here. Wait. Somebody died in the beginning. So if you ring this bell now, everybody is coming out to know why. So if you see inside of the church, they tell you worship the Lord in the days of thy holiness. But the churches were not used to unite Africans. It was used to divide us through slavery.
This church thing, they in function.
I don't post it today.
We have 5 minutes left. So as you are walking by within the slavery area, our ancestors or the slaves that were held captive here, they used to give them salt water to drink. After slavery was abolished in 1807 by the British, who were in control of this island, the slaves themselves dug themselves their own well of over 15 feet. Part of the things they used were part of the wreckage ship they arrived with here. And inside where they were tied as slaves is what they use here to have, they collect their own water. It used to serve over 2,000 people that were seeking refuge during the Civil War. So this is the well that was dug by themselves. So we walk towards down church and then we can go back. My dear.
I'll tell you. What point to go?
Look at the mosque.
And this building, what is the church?
That's the oldest church, the Zion Methodist Church. So the sad part of it, during the era of slave trade, no church or mosque was built, and the religion was not emphasized on. It's only after churches, mosques were built. That's why a lot of Nigerian writers did lots of books. Like there's a book titled Joys of Motherhood, done by Buchi Emecheta. There's another one called Second Class Citizen. I don't know if you have read some of this book. There were stories they were telling about the slave trade, but in another form. You hear the apps of Zion, look Zion.
Emily, stop man. But snap me voice. These are the oldest church.
These are the oldest church. And then first video one, then later can be the church.
Okay. We'll have to take one picture.
So this is a...
How the phone there? No, outside the
It's less than 5 minutes to go there. Just to eat, we are going to go on competition.
Tell us snap to them.
Guys, time please.
Already, I would have called and come back.
Like I was saying, there are several questions being drawn by locals who are now living within this community. This church used to attract several worshippers, over 300 when it was built in 1881. But today the church cannot even have 3-4 worshippers on Sundays, because many people have seen the churches as places where their masters or their ancestors were held captive. So they don't want to be in the same places where they were branded, where they were abused, as a place of worship. So that's a Zion Methodist Church here at Banana Island. And if you travel around the world to many places where slavery is going on, bells are common. So the bell you are seeing hanging over there was on board one of the slave boats that they arrived with. You know, they use the bell to communicate, because the locals cannot communicate with their masters by then. So the bell hanging there of over 200 years was on board the boat, which they were ringing. Probably they want to give them water one time. When they arrive at the point of sale, they ring the bell twice. So the slaves, they arrive back with the bell here, hang it over there, which they are using for Sunday service. So over here, there is a man called Smithman who encouraged the British to continue their sugar plantation.
Yeah, it's a bit the Holy Spirit.
Yeah, they're all and around there. Where you see them, so then they say they host them. Then quiet by, see, no one knows people in there. So the guy that wrote the hymn, The Amazing Grace, was living here in a wooden house similar to this one. And Smithman, who encouraged the British to expand their sugar plantation on Banana Island, Plantain Island, and Bonchabu Island, was once living over here. It was a house built with limestone, oyster shell, and stone that was here. So this is a Creole community. You have the C-R-E-O-L-E and K-R-I-O. But the difference is the C-R-E-O-L-E are the ones in Sierra Leone. The K-R-I-O, which is spelled in Creole, are more common with Mauritius, Haiti, and Louisiana in America. They are a little bit light-skinned. So we are walking back to Bafa. After having this short tour, we are walking back where you're going to have your dinner. So that's how the tour on Banana Island comes to an end. So you walk along, there are houses of over 200 years here, which people are still living inside, which is this one. It's over 200 years. This one. You can come in front and then take a look at the house. So the house you are seeing here is over 200 years. Whilst they were in England and America, lots was said to them. They said There are shelter for them to live when they arrive here. There is pure water for them to drink. But Sierra Leone is a tropical rainforest. So what the Creoles of Sierra Leone are doing when they relocate back to Africa, especially Sierra Leone, they use limestone oyster shell to build this basement. In Creole, we call some of these houses bodhos. Mostly it's built for a close family. These Creole people are not having like huge family. Even here, you're not seeing many kids. It's not easy. Creole, when they give birth, probably the first child will be 22 before they can give birth to another child. So that's how they are. So the houses you are seeing here, probably it's like 2-3 bedroom. One for the husband when they get old, and one for the wife, and one for the kid. So this one, when they built this house like this, some of the wood you are seeing here, they are over 200 years, still standing here. So when they return back home, they built similar houses they saw in Charleston, in Georgia, another part of England. So one of the replicas of the house that is still standing here, if you take a look at this wood, you cannot compare this wood to the wood we are using today, this one. See this one? It's not easy for you to get easy like termite to go through this wood. And even the door, this one they are using, this one. And this is quite different from the one we are using now. So this was also called the mosquito windows to protect themselves. Nothing was given to them, it was vast forest. So this is a house, people are still living in here. Yes. Sam? Osho, I can't say you get issues. So that's the deputy head of this island. Okay. Hi. Hi, boss. So would I go Prince of Wales and Prince William? Me na St. Edward's me go. So these are some of the old houses you are seeing as well. These are some of the old houses you are seeing. Limestone, oyster shell and stone. Breadfruit are village symbol. You know say breadfruit original, not to say alone fruits. You have it in Nigeria? Yes. So do you know originally this is not a West African fruit? This fruit was brought back to West Africa by the Jamaicans who were called the Maroons. So when they were sent to Jamaica, no food was sent there. So when they arrived there, they found this breadfruit which was they were surviving from. Yeah, this dog can do authority for the rest of this island.
No. Just tell it to go.
So when they arrived there, so when they were sent back to West Africa, they arrived with this. And these are the only things that survive with the things they bring back when they planted in Africa. So that's why you can go to any area slavery do occur, there is breadfruit. Because they were using this to feed. You can cook, you can roast, you can fry.
Ah, breakfast. Hey! Whose house is that?
Chips. That's the house we walk by.
Oh.
Okay, then get why make like let the boy where they make a mine.
This side of
Don't you want the way we can dig the
Yeah.
This is another house of over 200 years.
wow. This dog seems to know you.
Yeah, this can lead you on a tour. He can do a whole tour here. He can take you to each and every spot.
So is Basi, the tour guide. So how many years have you been doing this job?
I've been doing this job for over 15 years now as a guide in Sierra Leone. And I've been to each and every destination in Sierra Leone. I'm currently doing Sierra Leone, Guinea and Liberia, part of the West African, so I'm doing.
Wow. So for you, where can you say this is the best tourist attracted place in Sierra Leone?
Sierra Leone have many attracted places where you can visit. I cannot specify because each and every destination can give you an eye-opener to whatever you're looking for, ranging from culture, food, history, and several things you're looking for. And Sierra Leone is a hospitable place, so I cannot specify. Every destination in Sierra Leone is an eye-opener. It's a nice place for you to stay. So every destination is lovely in Sierra Leone.
So you have traveled the breadth and
I've done the
the breadth
16
and wide
districts of Sierra Leone.
Yeah.
Currently, I'm just coming back from Liberia, doing West African tour. So Sierra Leone is a beautiful land. It gives you different culture of every place you are going.
Okay. Thank you very much for taking us.
Thank you too.
To this stuff.
So this island, so when you are here, that's the hospital we just walked by. If you want to buy, so Creole people are people, they are just easy going. How you do? I asked you last week, welcome. They use the boat for 20 minutes and then they drive for an hour.
Oh, where did they go to for the 20 minutes?
They have a boat, they pick the boat where we landed.
To where?
To Kent. Then we going back Kent.
Okay, so Kent from here is 20 minutes.
20-25 minutes.
Kent is shorter. Then we now drive 1 hour.
So we use all the road is tarmac. It's a tarmac. All our roads are tarmac.
Wow, but not dual carriage, not double lane.
We use bus from Kent to go
They are
back.
not double lane, 4 lanes.
They are two lanes.
2, when you say 2, so people going they have 2 lanes, people coming they have 2
No,
lanes.
it's 1 lane, 1 lane, it's 1 lane.
So that's why.
So we only have double lanes when you are going towards the provincial area. For 47 kilometers.
Are we going back from Kent?
We are not going back towards Kent. We are going back where we came from.
Wow.
You can't go by Kent.
Kent is shorter. Kent is shorter to here.
Yeah.
No, but I don't think from Kent, I think it's only by road you can go.
Yeah, by road. Kent is shorter.
Lots of Kent to town.
And then from this is another arm of the crossover.
You can even use boats from Kent to
Abadi. Yes. To Abadi. Yes. That one too will be like 1 hour. No. I can't see which man are married. That one is a whole bamboo.
an opportunity for you to see the other side of Sierra Leone. It's like a whole excursion.
What's the time now?
30 minutes.
We should leave by 2. We are running behind you.
C'est pas qui passe. Tiens. Ah ça, c'est pas qui passe.
My lady.
That's all it is.
Gila. Pictures and videos to post to Y20. So we are having a happy time. For me, I've had enough.